In because on Spill the ImmuniTEA, the stakes are high, the alliances are forming, and the tea is brewing. Brace yourselves for blindsides, epic challenges, and the ultimate Survivor showdown.
Wow, there we go. We're still working on that intro. Hey, everybody, welcome to Survivor. This is Spill the ImmuniTEA. Oh, we have so much to talk about. What did we think about last night, guys?
I thought it was a great episode. I know how it feels now to lose. And I'm sorry for anything I ever told you. My boy TK.
Yeah, bro.
Surprising.
Bro. I was like, maybe we'll start the show today and all we'll say is bro. For like the first minute and a half, we'll just say bro.
And I could probably handle that for about 20 seconds because that was so hard to sit through. And you knew as soon as they allowed that clip to show, bro. It's like Reem 2.0, baby. And how did she do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. TK was at the beginning of the episode. I was thinking, wow, TK's a great player and he's really in control of the tribe. And then, about halfway through, it was like, oh, this guy's gone. Well, also to say this too, my pick, Genevieve, episode 2, we have still not heard a single word from. Yeah, exactly. It's like, who is she even on the show?
Is she on the show?
Right. It's crazy. So I don't think she's winning because they haven't even showed her. She hasn't even talked.
I think that back on day 1 when they had that challenge where everybody fell out of the boat, I think she just stayed in the water. Like I don't know.
She's still in the water.
I think she's in the water.
Go save her. Where is Genevieve? I forgot her name.
Watch 2024.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, she'll be back on the next season. Forgot about her.
Maybe she's on 48 and they were just testing the waters with her. I don't know. It was tough.
I always said I might play a unique way. As soon as I hit the beach, I just run off into the opposite direction and then hide. And they're like, where did Alex go? And they can't vote me off because they don't even remember I'm there. Yeah. I kind of take like a, what was his name? Raymond strategy. He's not good. He's out there in the bush somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe she's so low key, we don't even know she's on the show anymore.
Alex, and I missed your Australian accent. I was thinking that we weren't going to hear that again until January, but thank you for doing that for us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. No. But there are a lot of talking points on this episode.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
There are.
It was a great episode. You know what everybody's doing. Congratulations to the film crew, the edit crew, except for Genevieve, who I think is still stuck in the water somewhere. I know a lot of stories right now, and should we just kind of go through it?
Yeah, let's get into it. We're late today, so we got to it's all my fault. Blame me. But we got to get into it quick. I don't even know where to start.
Well, it starts off with Rome going to go find his box that he hides. And I don't think this has ever happened on Survivor before. So Rome tells Tiny for some reason, and Tiny says this. She's like, I don't know why he trusts Teeny Tiny. So Teeny Tiny tells Teeny Tiny and Rome, and they go look at it, and then they can't look at it because it's nighttime. And so for some reason, Teeny Tiny has this idea like, I'm going to go back in the morning, and she brings Kashawn, and they're literally looking. They open the box, and they're in the bushes looking at the box, and Rome just like walks up, and he's like, what the heck are you doing? It was the weirdest thing. I've never seen anything like it on Survivor, and I don't know if. And then
we don't have boxes like that have 10,000 messages in it and a box and a box and a box. And so you're like spending a lot of time reading the novel. It's like a whole chapter in a book that they put inside this box. It did solve the question I had last week was I would say that I was just getting it for the one tribal when in fact I've gone and put it back in and gotten it for 3 tribals, and I would keep the paper. There is no paper to keep with this one. It's in the box. So unless you're ripping that sucker out of there, you're not going to have a lot of things with it. But yeah, I thought it'd be a really good idea to tell somebody. That's what I thought. I thought it'd be really great to share that I have an
I was
idol.
so excited. Yeah.
Well, Bree, and it goes back to what you were talking about last week, is why are so many people giving up the fact that they've seen this idol? Like, unless it's right before tribal, like a couple hours before tribal, you have no reason to build trust with anybody. And especially since you don't even know how they vote, how they really think. Until there is a tribal council, you really don't know any of these people. And then you have the tribal, and then you can start being like, okay, like I can trust someone with this. I can trust someone with that. And I really thought that Rome was the one who was in the most trouble from the very beginning, and he was. But now Rome has the ability to say, hey, like I tried to say that Teeny was my number one, but then she went off and quickly told Tashawn, which then he can tell the rest of the tribe, hey, if you thought you were Teeny's number one, she didn't take you to that box. She took Kashawn, and voila, busts open her game. But Rome right now thinks is the best player in the world right now for really no apparent reason besides he found a box. Right?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, he found the paper that led him to the box. I mean, we just are telling way too many people way too many things when the game has just begun and you have no idea how it's all going to pan out. And I think we see that too, like even with us, right? We are now 2 episodes in, and raise your hand if you're regretting not picking Sam.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody even pick him? I think
No.
One's left.
No. And the only reason I didn't pick Sam is because I thought TK and him were going to we're going to go on, and TK was going to use Sam as a meat shield later on in the game, because I thought they had the same kind of chemistry or playing ability, and it just made sense. But now, I mean, Sam is on a higher tier for sure right now.
Well, they did. One of the things that could get him in trouble, though, and they said this as a preview. They said for the next episode, are Sierra and Sam dating? Right, so they might be a little bit too hot. Not literally, but you know what I mean. Like they might be a little bit too close. But yeah, Sam's in a great position, and he's in a good position with Andy. Like really good position with Andy. He seems to be good with everybody. And he is playing a good game, and he does seem kind of smart. Kind of was like a sportscaster, like, oh, he's more like TK dude, but no, he's actually a pretty smart guy. So I was kind of, he kind of framed it. He's like, I'm a sports reporter, and so I have to have all these, good working relationships with lots of people. That's true. I mean, sports is, these people are busy and they make a lot of money, and so yeah, it is. I could kind of see that, kind of maybe a little bit of a stretch, but yeah, seems like a really smart guy, good player, understands the game.
And a difference between TK and Sam, and I didn't think about this when making these draft picks, and you can't think of everything, right? But when it comes to the difference between those, both involved in sports, both talk to professionals, athletes, owners, all the different things, GMs, whatever. But that TK, that was his only world, it seems like. And so when you go into that challenge and you have this mindset that I don't want a tribe that doesn't want to lose or smiles when they lose and stuff like that, man, you can tell that he has a fixated world, and that is the athletic world, to where Sam has this theater background. And I love the line he said that I was good at theater wasn't because of the singing, like the acting ability he has as well. I thought was a cool line. So the huge difference between them, and if anybody ever goes on the show, really needs to consider, do I have a variety, a diverse, different groups of people I can communicate with strongly and also understand how these people think? TK did not have that. Didn't have that.
Another thing that I don't think has ever happened before is Andy finds the beware advantage in an Andy fashion. He's like Charlie Brown, right? He's the Charlie Brown of the season, sets himself up, can't every time. It's just expect a failure. But can he turn this constant failure into some sort of, victory, right? It's like the fool who continues in his folly becomes wise, right? He just continues to fail, but that failure actually ends up being a benefit to him somehow because he's just so, tragic. Underestimated. Yeah. So he hides the beware advantage back pretty much exactly where he found it. Didn't bury it. Didn't make it impossible to find. Puts it back. Sam, not even a little bit later, goes back, finds it right away with Sierra, right? Or was it Annika? I think it was Annika. And then they go and they find the idol, and there's all these different, things. So that I don't think has ever been done. Somebody puts the beware advantage back, goes back, Sam gets it. Andy goes back. He's like, oh my God, it's gone. Then goes to Sam and is like, I lost the beware advantage. And that's where Sam's acting. He's like, what? Really? What? So I was like, oh no, oh my gosh, that's a new one. That's a new one.
Bro. Like,
Bro.
Now I feel like I have to say it because we didn't get our community count from Jeff. He did not say community at all, like we were talking about last week. But Alex, yes, you hit it. I even like wrote down as I was watching. I wrote down, did any of us really think Andy was not going to open the beware advantage? So I was proud of him because he kept it there, but he probably should have, and I don't know if you can do this, but took it and hid it in a location that if his goal was to finally open it up, then go hide it in a place that doesn't look peculiar because they're picking all these kind of like susceptible, peculiar spots to put this idol. Right. But if his goal was to, okay, I'm going to hide it so that someone else finds it, and now I can know that someone has found it. But that was not his strategy at all. He is the Charlie Brown.
Brennan's right here when he says if he had moved the beware and hidden it somewhere, that's the same as taking it. So he had to put it back exactly in the same spot. It says put this back, or if you take it, and open it, it's yours.
Okay.
And that means had he hidden it somewhere else, he would still be on the hook for it. I think he was really surprised to see it gone so quickly because I don't know how much time elapsed there, but I think that he was like shocked because he probably only had a short think about it and then went right back to get it, and it was already gone. So, because he took off on Sam, and was like, I don't know how long a period of time there was, but I don't think it was very long because they hadn't really done much with the beware advantage. They had found it and found the box and the scroll, but hadn't gotten the key because of the knots, right? So, and in that time frame, Andy had decided, and he went back to look for it, and it was gone. So I don't think it was very long. I think it was a pretty short amount of time. And he did not expect to see it gone already, but that's what snooze you lose, I guess, on that one. So, yeah, I like that.
It's just weird, the beware advantage is not a new advantage. I think when you make up your mind, maybe before you get on Survivor, am I going to take it? Am I not going to take it? Like, you leave it there and you're like, oh, let me think about it a little bit longer. It's like you've had like a year to think about it, guy.
And yet to Andy's, I don't know if I can actually give him a defense really, but to his chagrin is, I'm sure he didn't say going into it if he had any strategy, what he probably had strategy, but I didn't think his strategy probably included the blow up on the first day. So already he's probably thinking, okay, like, where am I at right now? Hopefully he's thinking this. Where am I at right now? That just happened, which means I probably need to think about how I was going to play this game. And maybe there wasn't pre-thought. I'm starting to think that maybe he had 15 thoughts and he was going to just kind of roll the dice and shoot from the hip.
You got to be like Tiana, at Tribal. My instincts are always right. My instincts are always right. My instincts are always right. You can't be second guessing yourself and okay. I mean, you got to make the decisions and trust your gut, right? But and secondly, if you find the beware advantage, then it's within Angie's interest to then go back and camp and shake things up. Hey, I found the beware advantage. I was thinking about taking it. I went back, it was gone. So who has it? Right? Shake things up, do something, but he doesn't have that. Trust his instincts. I'm just gonna go out there and
confidence. He needs, like confidence. They said, he needs constant reassurance. Constant. He is, very, very much on that. Like I need and listen, you have no idea how bad I wanted to crack a coconut on the show today and have everyone cheer for me because it's really important to me that you cheer for me. I mean,
it's so patronizing.
Yeah. It was
so
just
sad.
Yeah.
And it's on national TV. It's like, oh man, like we're calling out one of these guys' biggest like self-esteem issues. And it's just sad that it's working out this way for him. And anyways.
Yeah. He said
maybe he'll have a redemption story.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what it was. I know there was something that he said, and I can't remember where I wrote it down. I did this at the wee hours of the morning this morning. But I do think that after Sam got back, and all of the stuff went down, Sam had something that I really liked, and it was Survivor is never as simple as it seems on TV. It is never as simple. You think that you have it figured out, or you know what you're going to do, and then it gets more difficult and you don't. And so I think we saw that with Andy. Doesn't take the advantage, puts it back, then goes back to it. Like there's that uncertainty. It's a lot harder, even though you came in thinking you would do this, it changes when you're actually in it. And that is the truth. Like we don't know what it's like to actually be there. But I think that it is a lot more difficult to make those quick decisions, because you really don't have a lot of time. When you find something like that, you have to make an instant choice, right? Because you don't know who's around the corner, who's walking up next to you, who's doing what. So when Teeny made that instant choice to bring Kashan and show the box, and they opened it up, and then bam, Rome's there, right? Like you have to make a choice. And obviously at that point they're caught red-handed, so nothing they can do about it. I think that's just like, if we look at it, like how instant of a decision do you have to make on everything that you're doing all the time? Mm-hmm. That's hard to do. Mm-hmm. It's easy from where we stand because we see it play out and we have more information than they do, but they have to make these instant choices. But I do think Andy was completely unprepared for this show, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're simply also critiquing and evaluating, because our job is to be like, okay, so who is this winner going to be out of these 18 contestants? And it's always in the details, right? We find out it's sometimes not always as easy as it has been these last 2 episodes, with TK blowing up at Tribal and then John kind of being the political guy and kind of doing the game wrong. So you kind of have to look at every possible thing. With the Brennan's comment about does this put Andy in a better place, it may allow him to stay on the game longer, but he still hasn't done anything intentionally to say this is how I made it in the game, besides flubbing his way another episode. So yes, it puts him in a better place, but not to win the game. But I guess maybe it does, because you have to last to be at the end of the game. So what a game. I love this game.
Yeah. Joanna says, Sam can bring Andy along as a loyal soldier, yeah. And he's got no other resources. He, I don't think has a lot of experience talking to women or maybe getting along with the women very well. So yeah, Sam is his only lifeline. And you see Sam saying, hey, I'm going to keep Andy around. He said that to Sierra. I don't want to get Andy out, and Sierra's like, okay, well, if that's what Sam wants, and I'm going to go with Sam.
Yeah.
Which is interesting how he has that much pull with Sierra, and maybe there's a little crush going on there or something like that. But I'm not sure how that relationship got so close, but I think it is because Annika and Rachel, smarty pants type of girls. So they're kind of connected on that level. And you saw that as soon as Annika, she went and told Rachel, and then Sam had the foresight to say, hey, I know Annika's going to go tell Rachel, so I better go tell Rachel. That takes a lot. I mean, Sam's really understanding.
He's getting situation awareness, which I really appreciate about him. And I'm sorry I didn't pick him too. So
yeah.
Which is funny, because like the person who found the idol first is the only one who doesn't know who has it at this point in the game. And that is, I love it.
It's a good season so far. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's been so many things that have been going on. I had some things that I wrote down. One of sometimes we don't, this is the thing we can be prepared for if we go play the game. And that is professing something to the group. Like the fastest time I had building a fire at home was 16 seconds. First of all, you can't build a fire because you just showed us you can't. But why do you say things like that?
Right.
Why do you say things, bro?
Rome wasn't built in a day. It was built in 15 seconds by Rome himself.
By Rome himself. Exactly. I love that. And then Caroline, I wrote, oh, sweet Caroline.
Your favorite.
She says, I just graduated from business school. She was just like, I'm so much better. I just graduated from business school. I was like, ooh, girl, you are not getting fans that way. Like, I don't know what that was about, but I thought it was an arrogance that I was surprised to see from her. And I was a little disappointed, gotta say, little disappointed.
Do you think
she's a nurse too? That's what it says her profession is, a nurse.
She said, I just graduated from business school.
I know. I know, but
She didn't like nursing.
yeah.
She went to business school.
I guess so.
But at
Maybe
least
Survivor fandom is wrong, but yeah.
at least she's saying it to the camera, and like the guy that's listening, right? You can say anything to that guy. The problem we're having with these first boots is that they're saying the wrong things to the wrong people. And you can tell me you have, you just majored in whatever, and that's fine. You tell the guy with the camera, get all your crazy out with that guy. Don't get your crazy out with the rest of the survivors out there.
Well, Gabe, I think has been, he was kind of on the outs, but he was able to get his wounded baby birds together. Interesting analogy, but so Caroline and Sue and are teaming up with Gabe, and Gabe showed Caroline his idol and to really solidify that relationship. And then they were able to bring in Tiana, and I thought that was very interesting. Gabe is actually playing an okay game. He's definitely not the first off, and he is able to identify, the people that he is able to work with closely, which is not the jocks, not the young people. And then Kyle, I mean, he's like the ultimate kind of go along to get along. I mean, he's just he almost seems unfazed by everything.
Survive.
Country boy can't survive.
I mean,
he's just like
one-liners. I love it.
He just is like, he could just be entertained by anything, and he's just TK
He's
could just do all day, and he's like, wow, this is great.
He is country music Ben. That's who he is right now. Just easy, go with the flow. Let's just hang out, kumbaya. Oh snap! My only alliance just got voted out, and I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
When at Tribal, he was looking around like, what? You guys were dishonest with me? What? Like, he was so innocent. Like, what a nice guy. But you don't hear him talk. Not a lot of words.
A little bit of Keith in there.
Yeah.
He almost acted as if everybody else should be shocked along with him that happened when everybody else was the ones who did it. Like, that's how shocked he was that he couldn't believe that. Oh, guys, can you believe that that's just happened?
It's like TK's so nice.
Oh, y'all did it?
Who did that?
We had some firsts on the show last night. We didn't have our first challenge until 32 minutes into the episode, so that was interesting to me. I thought that we really got a lot of camp life. It was a long stretch of show. That's 32 minutes straight time. That's not including commercials, because I don't watch with commercials in the morning. So that is 40, 45, maybe 50 minutes that we waited for our first challenge. There was only one challenge last night. So because we have these 90-minute episodes, they really gave us a lot of camp life and a lot of dynamics.
Loved it.
I did like that a whole lot. And then we also saw Rachel and the rice. And Jeff said right in the middle, right at the end of that challenge, that's a first. It's a first, Rachel, that someone has taken stuff. I was thinking that myself. I would have taken that rice and put it in my pocket, and I probably would have only dumped half of it out if Jeff had asked me to. He says, "Give it up. Don't make me pull out my knife." So,
do you think that he really saw her take it, or do you think production
told him? He did.
Told him.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way that with all the crazy that's going on, he's able to watch.
Not even looking.
Yeah.
So, he was way on the other side watching stuff. When I saw her starting to do that, and I was super sly. We know the camera zoomed in on it, so production knows. But he was really, really busy. So I knew that he had no clue, but I knew he would call her out. And I just really liked it. I liked that he's a little snarky. Don't make me bring out my knife. Come on, Jeff.
I am kind of sad for Rachel, though, that took place and that he called her out publicly, which I don't know what you do in that situation. If it's a rule against the game that you cannot take props or food from a challenge back to that, because I think that I was listening to On Fire podcast and they mentioned that was the reason. Because I was like, in Australian Survivor, I think they would have let them take the food and put in their pockets. That's just what Australian Survivor has been known.
No, they did. So I believe that with the ham challenge or whatever pig challenge that was, it was hanging on a rope, remember? And they had no hands. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they grabbed some before they left and took it.
Oh, probably let him do that. Well, anyways, I think that for Rachel, it kind of shows that she can play that little suspicious, watch out game. And I think Jeff calling her out may have hurt that a little bit, which is a weird twist too, because of course she has to be punished. That is a rule. But at the same time,
They're
to do it
starving, man.
publicly in front of everybody. Oh,
Well, we're talking about, you know, bringing the knife out when Andy was stabbing that bag. It looked a little too natural for him. I think it was a little bit too intense, and the smile and glee on his face.
Yep.
I don't know. You might want to look into
They
that.
all kind of attacked that rice though, like with the knife, or they watched Andy do it and they were just like, okay, that's how we should be doing. Cause they're trying to make as big a hole as possible to dump out as much rice to find the ball inside. So, you know, it is, it was a little creepy.
I like the challenge. Has that one ever been done before? The 3 ropes. And I always like when they have to do teamwork and they're yelling at each other. And, you know, I always like that. I you know, the one where they do the single and they're doing the ball up the snake, the single person with the 2 levies. That's fine. It's been a little bit overdone. So I kind of like this new version. You got 3 people. Yeah, Andy's done that before. Yeah, a couple times.
The other thing I wanted to point out in the challenge before we wrap things up and get into tribal really quick and then move along is I don't know if you noticed this, but at the end of that challenge before the yellow team won, Sam was the one in charge of the most of that, where the ball was going on that thing. And he literally stops them to have a Tom Cruise moment. So if you've ever watched the movie The Color of Money with Paul Newman and Tom Cruise, he sets up the ball to sink the 8 ball. But right before he shoots, he stops, looks up at someone and gives a one-liner and shoots it without even looking and sinks the 8 ball. Sam wanted that moment. Apparently he must be a fan. And he's like, he stops and pauses and he goes, who wants some rice? Or whatever he said, something like, who wants some rice tonight?
Who wants fish tonight?
Who wants to fish tonight? That's right. Who wants to fish tonight? And sinks the ball with like trying to get that moment, that TV moment. I think that's the reporter. That's the TV personality that he wants to be in him. That's just showing up. But I found it funny. It immediately reminded me of that part of the movie with Tom Cruise and The Color of Money. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. It's pretty fun. But yeah, let's get into tribal. Did we really have a strong feeling it was going to be TK when we went into tribal?
I had a strong feeling. I don't know if it was because I was getting my emotions ready that my number 2 pick was heading home. But I did not see. I think Tiana was put in a place because she was trying to figure out heart or head. And I think that what TK had done kind of put head and heart together and said, my heart and my head right now say that TK is the logical choice, which is why she kept on repeating that line that Alex said earlier about my impulse is correct or whatever she was saying over and over again. And I think he buried himself so deep that she had no other way to do it. No other way to do it.
Kind of my assessment of TK is I've know these type of people where they're almost so positive. They constantly are moving forward. They're not able to kind of go back and like slow it down. And they're always just kind of like, they did squash the beef. And, in that moment, I was like, okay, he's a sensible guy, but he just kind of constantly, and I guess as a football player, is constantly moving the ball forward and driving forward in the conversation and isn't really going back or slowing down or, understanding the other people's emotion and kind of, I think he did a good job at squashing it. But yeah, when she was saying my instincts are always right, her instinct was TK is not with me. But I mean, Sue in that group of alliance over there isn't really with her either. She's definitely on the outside of that alliance. And it was funny. Sue's like, if we do this is ultimate girl boss move moment. I was like, that's pretty funny. And Sue's, Gabe is, kind of in the driver's seat, but I think Sue feels very in control of that relationship because Gabe does kind of come off a little insecure, even though he does have kind of high confidence in himself and in his gameplay.
I think that's misguided though. Listen, I think Gabe is completely misguided in his belief that these are lost kittens that he's helping. Because I don't think he fully, he's totally underestimating Sue and Caroline. I mean, honestly, like, he's kidding himself, right?
Yeah. Sue's very capable. I mean, 58 years
Very.
old and she's got like a 6-pack. I mean, she's like, and I think, is this Bree and Brandon, correct me here. She the first person with tattooed on eyebrows on Survivor? Is that a first? We have to do a fandom check on that one. Yeah. First tattooed
I'm not
eyebrows.
sure.
It's possible.
I feel like
we've had other tattoo.
Somebody else. Yeah, I think there's somebody. I think it was Carolyn. I think Carolyn has some cosmetic
She's got a lot
tattoos.
of ink, though. Yeah.
She has a lot of ink. I think she might have some cosmetic tattoos. Good on Sue, man. I really like her a lot.
Yeah.
I think she brings a lot more to the table, and people like Gabe that underestimate. I think Gabe is putting himself. He's setting himself up for a fall, whether it'll actually get him out of the game or not. But I think there'll be a point where he realizes that he's not running as many things as he thinks he is, because these women are strong and powerful, and they'll get things done. And Tiana could end up being that person and replacing Gabe with those ladies. I mean, that could very well happen too. So because I think they're starting to make that connection. So
yeah,
that would be an ultimate girl boss move.
It would be a girl boss move.
And Sue said that so slowly to make sure she got it right for all the young people she's playing with. That was so fun to watch her do that. But I want to go back to this wounded bird thing. Like, this is day 4 and 5. Like, there hasn't been any wounding taking place. And so, like, I understand that there is a philosophy of, hey, take the weaker ones or take the goats, the bad goat word, not the good goat, but take them to the end with you. I don't know how you can call anybody wounded birds right now if there isn't a fallout, or if there isn't, maybe he's not seeing a lot of, some strategy being played by these guys. But I agree. I think that he is a little quick on masterminding a move when you haven't even been to tribal council yet. And it's definitely something for him to watch out for. What do you guys think about his idol play? In seasons before this, it's kind of like, if you don't get any votes, and it's a wasted play type thing. But at the same time, we just got done with the season where there was 26 miss idol plays, or not idol plays, that took somebody home. So what's your guys' thought on the idol play of our friend Gabe?
I like idle play early on when you don't really know what's going to happen and there's just so much possibility. I think if you have it, you play it in the beginning. I think as if you get something later on, especially when it's like people are knowing that there's an idol out there, you want to play it as quickly as you possibly can. Play it wisely if you can, but really protect your own self. Every day further in the game, everything changes within the hours, not even just like we used to say, every day is different. You could be out today and back in tomorrow. Like, that's how fast it changes. I think with the sped up version, when we could, things change by the minute to the hour. And so the longer you're in the game and guaranteeing your safety, the better off you are as a day further. And their idols seem to be abundant. Play an idol, get a new one. Play an idol, get a new one. Like, you know what I mean? Just keep yourself there as long as possible.
Yeah. Well, I think kind of the logic behind it too was the possible scenario was that it was going to go to a tie. It's going to be a 3-3. Okay. They vote again. And in that scenario, let's say they tie again. Well, now Sue and TK are out, and then they draw rocks. And so he saved himself on there. So then he would save himself from a possible drawing rocks scenario. It could have been Gabe because maybe they switched it up at the last minute. But I think, and Sue said too, please do not play your idol for me tonight. Like, I don't want that, So I thought it was, I'm not going to hate on it, but yeah, I think it was good for 3 tribals. Yeah. Right. And that was the deciding factor if he's going to be on side of the numbers or if he's not going to be on the numbers. So I can't, I'm not going to say.
And I agree.
It wasn't the right play, but not a bad play.
Yeah, and I agree with that opinion of, hey, like, if you're going in there, you think it's going to be a 3-3, play the idol, you're safe, and also, Sue's safe. And so really, it's just Caroline that out of your 3, a loose alliance, that would be in trouble compared to Kyle and the other one, Tiana. So yeah, I wasn't against. I'd give it like maybe a B-, if you will, of his move.
And about Gabe too, you saw it even on his intro interview. He's like, I'm going to be the face around Survivor Mount Rushmore, and I'm going to like bulldoze these people, and I don't care about people. And he has this like level of kind of arrogance, like the self-belief, which whatever, you need delusional self-belief sometimes to do some things. And especially if he has maybe lack of confidence, he's not a fit guy, he's not the best looking guy, right? So he needs to have this kind of high self-confidence that he is a schemer, he is a gamer, to give himself that, hey, my instincts are always right, and he will make those decisions and trust his gut. And that's really important. So that's kind of my assessment. He's like, oh, these people are baby birds. Well, what is that doing? It's just elevating him to say, hey, I'm confident in my decisions. I know. Are they the strongest people? Are Sue and Caroline the strongest people in the tribe? No, not really. But they're definitely not. Sue definitely.
He is definitely far from the Rushmore of on the Survivor. I think right now he is making the DVD case because he has a lot of airtime, because he has done a lot. A lot of the things have, been involved. He's been involved in situations. So DVD case at this time, but not based on how great he is, but just based on the fact that there's a lot of things that he's been active in.
Yeah. Well, we had a little bit of podcast talk with Aisha, and they were talking about different things that they would do. And I thought it was interesting. I still have no idea who she is. Good on her, because she's going to keep that under wraps. Ha ha ha. That was a joke. Wrap. Yes. Okay. Sorry. It was bad. I was bad. I know. What are we looking forward for next week? I know we got a wrap here in just a couple of minutes. We had a little shorter version today because I had some medical stuff going on. All good. But what are we thinking next week? Who is our? You're definitely safe, and who is going home? Brandon, you're up first.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm hurt, and I don't want to be my guy. I think Sierra, Gabe, and Teeny are in decent places right now. I'm not too worried, but I wasn't worried at all about TK this week. So what does that mean? I'm gonna try to get one of Alex's out. This is purely based on just getting, eliminating one of Alex's to make it fair amongst the three of us. And his team, gosh, I want to say Andy again. I think he's going to do something crazy. And again, you keep these players because they have no chance of winning, but sometimes it just gets too much where you're just like, all right, just get out. So I'll say Alex or Andy.
Alex, vote me out.
I almost voted Alex out.
Don't vote me out.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think actually all my people are safe except maybe Tiana, but I think they'd vote off, the Kyle before her. Still haven't heard from Saul. So didn't hear from Genevieve, didn't hear from Solomon the entire episode. Okay.
He did do well in the challenge though. So
yeah,
Saul was solid in the challenge.
Good one.
Really, I know. I need to just go back.
Yeah, you're on a roll today, buddy.
It took too much blood.
I don't know what's going on.
You're on another one. I think it's gonna be Rachel or Annika. Honestly, Rachel or Annika, because I think Sam doesn't want to keep Andy around. I think her and Sierra are close. And I think it'll be Annika because she's just a little bit too high strung, a little too talky, a little bit too out there. So I think Annika's going to end up getting herself in trouble.
And she's the one that accused Sierra and Sam of dating, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I think that could be an issue too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and if you have Red go to tribal, you have Rome who has an idol. Right? Will he play it? He said he is. He said he's going to play it. So then who's on the outside there? Well, it's Teeny, right? It's Teeny, but she's in good with Kashawn and good in with. So maybe we will see a Saul go home because he's just kind of he's so nice and get along. I don't know. And it's hard to. I really want to see something from Genevieve because
she's not
she
there.
She seems to be good with people, but she's just she ran off and is hiding in the book. Yeah.
I have a fan club. Thank you. I have to agree with you. I think her days are numbered. Yellow is I think we're going to see another slip up there, mostly because, Andy just isn't enough to count on. I think we'll see another meltdown, but I don't think he'll go home once again. I do think Annika is going to stir up some trouble, and she's going to be that thing that goes wrong. So I'm thinking that'll happen. But they could turn on Andy. So I'm seeing one of between Annika and Andy. I think it'll be one of them. I think my guys are pretty safe for the moment, but you never know. And Sam is pretty much, we screwed up and didn't get the right pick, but it is what it is. Someone should have grabbed him, but we don't know.
We should have chosen after the first episode or
That's
before
true.
the last.
Wow, shots fired.
We can't
Doesn't
change
really
yet.
matter,
But anyway, thank you guys for being here. We got more information, more opinions, and bad one-liners to share with you next week. Thanks for being here and hanging out with us today. Go have some fun this weekend and do something wild and crazy, like start a fire in 16 seconds or less.
Bro.